Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Double Stuff podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. And Soy Allen.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sarah.
Je suis Charity.
Ah, nice.
I should have said soybean, but I would have
little
been stupid.
international flavor. All right, Dan. So, what do we got coming up today?
Let's see. Let's go into the old hopper? Is that what we call it?
Sure, the
And
hopper.
see what it is. Roll it around. Okay. The first topic is diner lingo.
Diner.
So make sure I have that
Lingo.
right. Diner lingo.
Learning about
That's
diner
right.
speak and all. Yes.
And then the second one that we have, roadside attractions.
Oh, okay.
that actually works out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going on a trip today.
Ah.
All right. So the first stop is always to the diner when you're
I
on
know.
a road trip. It's
always
when's
talk
the
about
next
food.
place to eat.
That's right.
Have
So-
you been to those like traditional like 50 style diners?
Oh
Like-
yeah. They're a lot of fun.
Like Spangles.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, let's
Well, I mean-
get this going in a direction. So we've left the house. We're on the road trip. Are we looking for cheap places to eat? Are we looking for good places to eat? What are you looking for at a roadside? Or
Oh, good places for sure.
Yeah?
I mean, if
Okay.
I'm out taking a road trip, I'm already spending all my money anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not going cheap.
Okay,
If I was
so
going to go cheap, it'd be like McDonald's or something. No, actually, they don't have anything for me. So something else.
Prime cuisine McDonald's has.
Yeah.
But especially if you're starting out, I gotta have a diner that has breakfast. as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Oh,
Diner
love
absolutely.
breakfast is
breakfast.
great.
Get the hash.
Yeah.
Little scrambled eggs
Yeah,
and potatoes.
there you go.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think the times that me and Charity, either as a family or there's been a couple times where we've gone to places, typically we don't really do that. We try to find familiar places, because if we just try to find any old greasy spoon in the middle of nowhere, that's usually how horror movies start. And so
Or how they end.
Yeah, it's true.
yes. So
If we're shooting on a budget, it all happens at the diner.
at least for us, we try to find a familiar place. So while
We're the
McDonald's
family that
isn't,
packs the cooler, though.
we do pack a cooler of food typically.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that,
those are snacks, though, right? They're not
No,
the
like,
meals.
no,
oh,
we do
you'll
like-
do
we do
sandwiches.
like
Go
sandwiches and
like
stuff.
we'll do sandwiches, or like a couple times we'll like Tupperware and bring
Okay.
food with us, and then if like the hotel or whatever has a microwave, we're like, oh look, everything's done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
We always think
Yeah.
about doing that, but I like packing snacks for the road, but I hate packing like food to eat because I feel like that's part of the experience, right? Is like going out and like trying new
Sure.
things and like going to new places.
Obviously, we're just
So-
no fun on a road
No.
trip.
Well, my wife does all the time. She's all like, "Oh, we're gonna get stuff. We're gonna get like PB&J. We're gonna get like easy things to eat." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah.
And then we just don't. And I'm like, "Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Too bad we'll have to stop places to get stuff to eat."
It is a lot of work though.
Yeah.
Like, to plan in advance.
Absolutely.
I'm so boring when it comes to. I'll get the 2-pound bag of beef jerky and then just drive all day.
That makes the
Yeah.
car stink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that's driving.
That and
Yeah, I
corn-
know, but like you're in an enclosed car. Like my little sister did that, and like my car smelled like feet for like
Yeah.
3 days.
the
Yeah.
pungent aroma of beef jerky is in a closed confined
Yeah.
space very strong.
And it's an immediate smell too.
Yeah,
Like,
it
even
is.
if you
You
crack
can't
the
sneak it.
bag, like
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely strong.
it's best just to, once you open it, leave it open so everybody's.
Oh
Well,
god.
So don't
factories
reintroduce it every single
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah. That and corn nuts.
Oh, yeah,
God.
corn nuts are pretty strong too.
At that point, just take your shoes off because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like road trip potpourri, right? You open the bag and all these different aromas linger for many
Okay.
hours.
Well, when we need to let the car air out, let's mix it up just a little bit. So let's switch over to our second topic. So we're letting the car air out at a roadside attraction.
Yes.
What are we looking for?
Do you guys even go to the roadside attractions? I just
I
don't
don't
go there
think they're
anymore. I haven't been
safe.
for so long.
Yeah.
I went to one before. Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's fine. I was just saying. Yeah, usually when I'm on a trip, it's to the destination.
destination.
It's not. Let's hopscotch along.
Well, I went to one, and it was me and my friends. We were on a road trip to, I think, Kansas City or something, but there's this thing, car hinge. It's supposed to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
okay, so I don't know if we took a wrong turn or whatever, but we were driving and like we were going deeper and deeper into this like woodsy area. I was like, they're like, should we keep going or should we turn around? I was like, I'm not getting murdered out here and forgotten on some side of the road.
Yeah.
So we didn't see it. I don't
Yeah.
even know if we were driving in the right spot, but it looked real sketch. So, have you been there?
No, but Rob has, my brother-in-law.
Okay. Is it a sketchy drive to there?
I don't know what the drive is like,
Usually
but
it
they
is.
liked it. They thought it was neat. I mean,
So
I
it
think
does
they-
exist. It's not like a
It exists.
House
Well,
of Horrors
I don't know
where they
which one.
kidnap
So
young girls
the one
or
they went
something.
into was in North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Oh, so there's more
Yeah.
than one then.
Yeah,
No.
there's
We had to be
well,
driving in the
out
wrong
in
spot.
Southwest they have the Cadillacs that are like I think it's in Nevada
Man, they must have
where they're
a
all
bunch of different ones then.
Yeah, and usually I think what we're talking about is typically it's private property and somebody got bored that owns the property and sets up kind of an attraction to it as an homage to what they're passionate about.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really for everybody, but
Well, I think that's the point. It's weirdly eclectic. So yeah, it does. Whoever put it together definitely shows their personality. I feel like a lot of those, the ones I've always wanted to visit, they probably don't exist anymore. Especially like when you look during the golden age of people, especially driving down like Route 66 and all that. So basically like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know, like seeing giant. What was it? The one around here, like the giant ball of twine, or like
They have the big sunflower,
statues.
like the Van Gogh sunflower painting out
Oh
by
yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Colby.
I think
Oh.
I saw pictures. I've never seen
I've
it
never
in
even
person.
heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
either.
it's out there. If you take 70 on the way to Colorado, I can't remember if it's like Oakley or Colby or one of those places that's out there.
There's a bit of a revival with the art scene. I know that like old grain elevators have now become canvases for
That's true.
different artists.
Yeah.
Same thing with water towers. Like
And
water towers.
towers,
They have,
yeah.
like there was one that looks like a giant like Heinz ketchup bottle.
Oh, that's
That was
clever.
cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
clever.
clever.
You know.
I like that.
So I like, but yeah, I don't know if I can't think of any. The only one I can remember off the top of my head was when we were still living in Indiana, and we would go visit our grandparents. I think it was either on the way to Michigan City to visit our grandmother, or on the
the
way to Fort
pumpkin
Wayne, the
thing?
giant pumpkin.
Oh.
There
Was
was
it a real pumpkin? Or?
No, it was. It was. I mean, okay, as a little kid, it was probably huge. I'm sure it's probably still big as an
we still
adult,
have
but it was
a photo somewhere. I saw it like a couple years ago in
very,
like, an old album.
very, very big pumpkin. Looked like the size of like a 2-story house. It seemed. I don't know if it was that big, but it was quite large. And yeah, we did take a picture right next to it, which is pretty cool.
I think I was like 10.
Yeah, we were very
that was
young.
a long time ago.
I think the other one that we do, because we don't do it anymore, but like I said, we used to live in Indiana, so we would drive to Oklahoma a lot, which would be like a 13-hour drive nonstop, really. And I think it's in Illinois. There's this thing called the Effingham Cross. It's in Effingham,
Oh yeah.
Illinois. Giant. I'm not sure what it's made of, but it's a giant cross, and you can't miss it. Literally, it's in the middle of nowhere, and then this giant cross kind of appears on the horizon. So we've actually taken pictures next to it too.
I think there's one like in the Ozarks, like on the way to Branson, isn't there? Like a giant cross that they have.
Is there
on one of the
Charity,
hills?
Because Charity actually went to school in Branson, so I don't know if she would have seen it if that
I
was the
don't
case.
remember a cross.
Or maybe it depends on what side we drove on. But yeah, like
I don't know.
I would love to see all the weird stuff that I always saw in those old books. Even some of the hotels were shaped, interestingly. Like they had one that was like a giant boot, like the old woman live in a shoe. But you could
Yeah.
actually like rent out rooms in the shoe. And,
Right.
Where's that at?
I don't know, somewhere in the U.S. It was it was a documentary I saw, and the documentary was all
It
about.
was called Joyland Reliving Memories.
That makes me
What a
think
nice
of like
plug.
old
Product
diners
placement.
that are shaped like things,
Yes.
like hats and boots, or like in the
I haven't seen a
Rocketeer, the one
cat.
with the dog.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or there was that one in California in the shape of a giant orange, right? And they sell like
That's just
basically.
a circle or a sphere.
Yeah, but I mean, they sell like all orange-related things. Like
I think I know what you're
orange.
talking about.
It's not a
And
weird
it
shape.
is on it's on Route 66, but in that part it's called Foothill Boulevard, and I think I remember seeing, or I drive by that a lot. And it was always closed, so
Oh,
oops.
okay.
If you're trying to make the trip,
like closed permanently, or always closed whenever you came to.
whenever
it?
I came by, so
Yeah.
Keep it on hours.
Well,
Could be.
And speaking of like roadside attractions, I don't know if this really counts, but sometimes you find those weird shops like in the middle of the road, or not in the middle of the road, but in the middle,
like a crystal store or a gym shop or
something like that. Like there was one place, sadly, that I think they're just online now just because of the demand. But me and Charity used to go there all the time too.
Oh, Nostalgiaville.
Nostalgiaville.
Oh,
And it was amazing. It was anything you could dream of it had like basically 1950s and 1960s paraphernalia. And so it was like anything Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, with the occasional trinkets from the Three Stooges, which I bought.
I mean, they had stuff from old TV shows. Like
Old
I Love
TV shows,
Lucy,
Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith show. They had Beatles stuff.
okay.
And
It was a fun. I mean, it was a small area, but they packed so much in there, and it was just fun. Like whenever we would go on road trips, we would try to stop there every moment we could. And the very, very last time, this had to have been about 3 or 4 years ago, we went there and they had closed.
Yeah.
And because they had been open for like 30 years, 40 years.
it was on the way to
Was
St.
it
Louis, right?
St. Louis? It was like in the Missouri area, I think. In that, I don't remember the exact area, but I think it was in the Missouri area. So while I haven't had a chance to really see a lot of the roadside attractions, the few we went to, you know, I remember quite vividly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and then there's always outside of proprietors' shops and whatnot, there's always state and national parks and things like that you
Yeah.
can go through, which are always fantastic. I was just at El Dorado State Park this past weekend at the time of recording this, and I hadn't been there in a long time. It's a lovely park. It's a lovely camping area. There was a gun range not too far from the camping area.
So just pop, pop.
Yeah.
Like out in the
Well, we were fishing in the little runoff from the spillway, and yeah, I mean, you just and I'm like, oh, there goes $50 right there.
Oh man.
I always like that place because when you're driving on the turnpike on 35,
Yeah.
and you go across like part of it, there's like those trees that are
Yeah.
basically up to like the top branches covered in water.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't even
so they
understand how
dammed
this
it up.
happened. Like,
They got it all, but then they didn't doze out all the trees.
yeah,
so,
they didn't take all the trees.
Oh.
And I don't
I've
understand
heard
they're
it's
still
super
standing there.
dangerous too.
Yeah, because like, wouldn't you think they'd be all soggy and like fall over?
Well, not only that, but apparently
It might
like,
sooner or
people
later.
will jump off the boat to dive in,
Uh-huh.
but they'll go head first instead of feet first,
Oh,
and then
no.
they don't come up.
the branches.
Maybe that's an urban
Oh.
legend. I don't know.
I'm
can
sure
see
it's
it.
happened at least once.
Man, I gave a good plug for El Dorado City Lake and then a bad plug.
That was my fault.
It all cancels
No.
out.
I like those places. Like we don't stop like a lot of those like
Yeah.
typical roadside attractions, but I like the scenic views. Like if you depending on where you travel at, but you know there's like those turnoffs
Yeah.
where you're driving down, you can just stop for a second. It's like, oh, it's a pretty vista. Get your camera out.
Right,
So
right.
those are nice breaks to take.
I'm trying to think,
Absolutely.
have we ever done that?
There's one in
Like actually stopped.
if you're going
Not really.
up
Yeah.
35 just before Emporia, they have like a scenic like turnout, and if you it's just the Flint Hills, but the sunsets are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's got to be nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Kansas sunsets just are always pretty incredible. My wife just took a picture of one not too long ago. It was fantastic. Just the amount of colors. There was clouds in the background that were taking on shapes or hues of the sun, the setting sun. It was absolutely breathtaking.
That is one nice thing about Kansas being so flat is that if you do have a nice sunset, you can see it for miles
See it
and
for
miles and
miles.
miles. Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
That'll make a good movie ending, you know, where you drive off literally into the sunset, iris down, you know, credit roll.
Uh-huh.
Movie's over.
Like everybody
Yeah.
talks
How
about the
romantic.
sunrises because nobody's up at that time.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure we have great sunrises too because it's for the same reasons, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Just in reverse.
who's up? Who's to see them?
Yeah.
Well, we had talked about that last season when we were doing our little icebreaker episode that we kind of preferred sunsets. Because just kind of like we were saying, like who's up that early, but also I think sunsets are a little bit more prettier. I think you do see more of the oranges and pinks and reds and all that kind of stuff than you would on a sunrise. At least the ones I've seen.
I think part of that too is it's at the end of the day. So whatever you had set out to accomplish, you've accomplished, or at least you've put on pause, so that you can take time to enjoy them.
More satisfying.
Yeah,
Wait,
rather
you
than
accomplish things?
I try. I do my
Look at him
best.
overachieving, actually doing something with his life.
Trying. Let's come back to let's switch gears back to diners, and let's talk about the lingo that you might hear at a diner.
Yeah, something that I always thought was interesting because I watch a lot of old movies. I watch a lot of old movies and TV shows, and so you always hear, you know, whenever they're gonna get a cup of coffee and stuff, they don't say "give me a coffee." They use like slang or some kind of like that diner jargon.
Cup of Joe.
Yeah, a cup of Joe or a Java or something like that. And so I've always been curious because they have their own language,
Yeah.
really. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about some of them and maybe kind of figure out what they are.
It's much more casual conversation. One of the things
Yeah.
that I have found that my wife does not like, I don't mind, I don't think it's a big deal, but my wife doesn't like it, is the Huns or the darlings or the
like the hats.
honeys
I see what
and
you're talking
things
about,
like
yeah.
that. You know,
okay.
the terms of endearment that a lot of diner waitresses.
Friendliness.
Yeah.
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 But like too friendly. Like, like we don't know each other well enough to be
Yeah.
that friendly type thing.
Right. Or,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just a term of endearment that I think is fun to have, and I would hate to just like have it go away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect if I was at Red Rocks Canyon or something like that for my server to call me hun or,
Right.
or
Yeah.
darling.
But you're talking about like back in the day, if somebody ordered like a double cheeseburger or something, they'd be like, give me 2 Slam and Sammys with the top on
Yeah,
or something
pretty
like that.
much,
You know,
yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Which
like,
doesn't have as much endearment as hun. But
Well, you can put hun at the end if you're talking to the chef.
Is that what you're talking about? That's the
That-
thing
that
I
is
was
what-
thinking of.
that
though.
is what I'm talking
It's like,
about.
Give it to me chopped, smothered, and covered.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
no, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Waffle
So,
House stuff.
yeah, like
that,
this.
that seems so unnecessarily complicated. Like you have stuff on the menu that's like listed out, and it's like, okay, now I have to remember a secondary like list of items on top of that correspond to each one that I have to tell the
well,
cook.
and I kind of wonder if it kind of also goes with a bit like we talked about 20 slang a couple episodes back, which I felt like I didn't do my due diligence on that.
I think you
but
did. Yeah, I think you did. Okay.
I learned a few words.
we all did, Charity. We all did. But I feel like it's a bit of slang from the era that maybe kind of worked its way into diner speak. I mean, now admittedly, I don't know that for sure, but just the way it's used, that's kind of what I thought.
Could be.
So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to give you guys a few, and maybe if you ever find yourself in a 1950s diner that was originally converted from an old boxcar, then you might be able to figure out what it is. So if you're going to ask for Adam and Eve on a raft, what would that be?
This one I know from Ida Lucy, so I will not answer.
I mean, you can if you want.
A hot dog.
That's the only thing I was thinking too.
Actually, sorry, it took me a second. Actually, a hot dog is called tube steak.
That's
Which-
appetizing.
Yeah.
That's true. No, Adam and Eve on a raft. You want to go ahead and share?
And eggs on toast.
Yeah, 2 poached eggs on toast.
And if you wreck them, then it's scrambled eggs on toast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
A poached egg is always really good. I like.
Poached egg seems unnecessary.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
why would you do that to an egg? I mean,
Well,
not
explain
to
what
Only
a,
if you
I don't
wanna
know what a
make it-
poached egg is. So
Okay,
explain
so
what it is.
It's like
a poached egg
go ahead.
is you have a boiling water.
Okay.
And then you just crack the egg and
In the boiling water.
into the boiling water,
Okay.
and then keep it together, and then just kind of
You're supposed
scoop
to
it out.
like
That sounds like
stir
a
it little
ton
bit
of
before
work.
you-
How do you keep it together in the boiling water?
You have to swirl the water while you put the egg
And
in.
like,
Yeah.
don't you put like a drop of
It's
vinegar in it?
interesting.
I don't know about that. I
I
just
thought you
know
put a little
that
vinegar in it to
one of
keep
my
it
favorite diner
together.
foods is eggs Benedict. So, which is
Ah.
English muffin that's been halved, and then a poached egg on each half, and then hollandaise sauce on it, and then every different.
Do you have like Canadian bacon usually or something like that?
You could. Sometimes it's with salsa. I mean, different diners put their own kind of spin
Okay.
on it. So,
Yeah.
whether you want like eggs Benedict,
How does a poached egg
rancheros
taste
or something.
different?
No, it's.
I don't
I mean,
think
how-
it's really
what
makes
is it?
that.
It's the texture of it.
That's what
so,
I was, so like yeah. Well, I guess what's
so it's
different about it?
creamy.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
creamy.
creamy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But your yolk is still runny, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cooked, but I mean, it's
So
running.
it's
Okay, I'm
like
gonna
a
have to
sunny
try
side
this.
up, but it's covered.
I'm gonna have to try
Right.
an Adam and Eve on a raft. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
and Adam and Eve on a raft. Well, since we were talking about eggs, it's something
Yeah.
that we still know about is if you want your eggs. This is the way I like mine, sunny side up,
Okay.
which is basically a fried egg just cooked on one side, so you don't fry it. You don't flip it over. That's kind of how I like mine.
Yeah, that's over.
Over easy. Oh
Flip it
yeah,
over,
Over
yeah.
flip it
medium
over.
or over hard.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want. So if you want it over easy, you want the yolk still runny.
runny,
If you want
yeah.
it over medium, you want it kind of like a jelly. And
That's
if you,
what that's
That's
my
how Charity-
favorite.
yeah,
I
that's
love
how
if you want it
Charity likes
hard,
ours.
you want the yolk to be cooked
You want to
all
eat
the way
gravel in
Except
your
most of the places you say over easy and they give you over medium at minimum.
It's because they
Well-
don't. It's because they cook it too long.
through.
Yeah.
Either that. Well, part of that too is if you, if you don't have properly cooked eggs, you're chancing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some.
Which is why we don't
related
make sunny
illnesses.
side up eggs anymore because it's hard to cook the
Right.
egg fully without burnt or
Yeah.
you're getting the bottom all hard of the yolk.
Right.
It is a
Yeah.
challenge. But since we're still on eggs, if you're going to order 2 dots and a dash, what's 2 dots and a dash?
It's got to have something to do with bacon, right?
Actually, yeah, 2 fried
Yes.
eggs and a strip of bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which could still be Adam
Well,
and Eve if you
it
think
made
about
me
it.
think of like a smiley face and put the 2 eyes and then like a
Oh.
happy face with the bacon.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you're able to curve the bacon in a smiley
Yeah, maybe.
formation.
That's a specific request. I want a happy face, please.
Oh, yeah, that's
A
IHOP.
happy plate.
That's IHOP. Here's 2 pancakes and a pile of whipped cream, and that's breakfast.
That's true. Actually, I do. Oh man, breakfast sounds good. I haven't eaten today. So if you were to order some nervous pudding, what would that be?
Jello?
Yes.
Oh, because it
'cause it
shakes.
jiggles.
Yeah.
So nervous pudding is
That's
Jello.
Now I never heard of that one. I just
hadn't either.
picked
Hadn't heard
Jello
of it
because it's
either.
jiggly. It's
Yeah.
jiggly, yeah.
So it works out. Yeah. So nervous pudding is Jello. If you want something on a sandwich, it's like, okay, I'll have meat such and such. Make it cry.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think make it cry would be? If you're going to add all this stuff to a sandwich, you want to make it
You
cry.
want onion?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
you're
good.
good at this
I
game.
should open a diner.
Because onions make your eyes water, so whenever you do it, you
Yeah.
want to make it cry. You want to add onions to it.
delicious.
Yeah.
I love onions.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer them cooked, but raw, actually, I'm starting to enjoy that more. But you got to make sure.
Eat it
that,
like an apple.
I'm not going that far.
Oh, what are you, Tom
would
Sawyer?
make me cry. I would definitely cry. Rather do the caramel apple prank and then put the caramel and the nuts around the onion. I've
that's-
seen those.
oh, that's
I would never do
mean.
that. Ooh,
That's mean. Jerry just fell over.
I didn't fall. My armrest moved.
So if you wanted to order, there's 3 things. If you want the Bronx vanilla, Italian perfume, or halitosis, what are they referring to?
Garlic.
Garlic?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the Bronx vanilla. It sounds like some
Bronx
kind
I've
of weird.
vanilla.
I never heard that one either.
Neither.
All right, give us one more.
One more, do it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do one that you probably wouldn't know that I didn't realize. Shingles with a shimmy and a shake,
Shingles with a shimmy. I don't know.
which is basically buttered toast on jam. Or
Oh,
buttered
okay.
toast with jam.
Nope, I never would have gotten that.
I wouldn't have either.
Shingles?
Shingles is
Oh,
what they
like
call.
a roof tile.
Yeah, so that's what they call bread, like
Oh,
toast.
okay, a slice.
So shingles with a shimmy. I
Not
guess.
adult chicken pox.
Sounds like shingles.
Yeah, there were some other ones, but yeah, like there's a lot of things that have the word shingle in it, and that usually deals with toast.
That was
or a
before the
sliced
time
bread.
of chickenpox.
Well, the slang usually went, I said between the 1920s and the 1970s, so there's some accuracy there. So there's plenty of more fun things like moo juice equals milk, and if
I
something,
knew that one.
if you
Yeah.
want something to hemorrhage, that means you want ketchup. So there's a lot
That
of
makes sense.
there's a lot of fun things you can add to the diner speak. So when we
They
do open
still-
up our
They
diner,
still
Yeah.
use hen fruit.
oh, Three Stooges, hen fruit, eggs.
for
Yeah.
eggs. Yeah, I
Okay.
knew that one. I knew that one.
Yeah, hen fruit's fun. That's
That's
a fun word,
awesome.
a fun phrase to say.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed our trip today as
Yes.
we saw a lot of attractions and stopped at the diner. And if you'd like to let us know what your attractions would be on the roadside or any diner lingo that we missed, Sarah's going to let you know where to contact us.
Yeah, you can binge listen to all of our episodes on doublestuffpod.com. Of course, you can always check out on YouTube, listen to it that way. And of course, check out our social media, which is Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast. And of course, everyone say it. And on Twitter, Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.
Covered and smothered.
See you next time on Diners,
Drive-ins,
Drive-Ins,
and
and
Dives.